Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Sewn on the Tyne. I'm Tamlyn and today I'm going to be talking about everything that I made in January and a few things that I really enjoyed last month. So January, first month of the year, always start off with the best intentions. I'm going to make loads of things, really, get quite a few garments into my wardrobe, and it sort of happened, I suppose. I made 5 items plus 2 that are just unfinished. Nearly completed, but unfinished at the moment. So 7 things isn't so bad. One of those things wasn't for me. So 6 new garments in my wardrobe. I'm pretty happy with that. I did spend the last part of January being quite ill, so that kind of slowed me down a little bit. Or made me stop completely, to be honest. So the first thing that I completed in January was the Nikki Cardigan by Athena Kaku, or AK Patterns as her pattern company is known. I made this in a lovely leopard print jersey from Lubadoo Fabrics, and you can see from the pictures it's really lovely. I was kindly sent the pattern by Athena to review, and I really enjoyed making it. It was really quick and easy. Athena's instructions are awesome, they're really incredible, and she also has a sew along on her YouTube channel, so there's plenty of help there if you need it, if you get stuck with a step, for example, but I didn't because it was so straightforward. I didn't make the tie belt because I made the cardigan out of a small amount of fabric. I think it recommended around 2 meters and I think I made it out of 1, possibly. So I couldn't make the tie belt and I had to make the hemband. I had to make it in 2 separate pieces and then join them together at the back with a centre seam, but that was fine. And then you can see in the pictures I've just used my own belt, just a black ready to wear belt, and I think it's really lovely. I really love it. I have written a full blog post about the Nikki cardigan. I'll leave the link for my blog below and you can go and check it out. The second garment I made in January then was the Paper Cut Patterns Pinnacle Sweater. Now I made this in a khaki jersey, like sweatshirt jersey from Amsterdam, and I'd had that since August last year and hadn't got around to making anything with it yet, and then I just saw this Pinnacle sweater and I loved it. I love the triangle detail on the front and I thought that would be really complicated to make, and it wasn't at all. You can see the way that I'm wearing it, I was actually heading out to the gym at this point. So yeah, I'm really happy with that and I'll definitely be making another version. I really want to make the top version, so out of a woven fabric. I think that's really pretty. I've seen a couple of lovely versions out there. So I'd recommend the Pinnacle sweater if you haven't tried it yet. The third thing that I made in January was a gift, and it was for my lovely mum for Christmas. Now I didn't spend Christmas with my mum and dad because we spent it with my husband's parents down in Oxfordshire, so I didn't actually get together with my mum and dad until quite far into January to exchange presents. But I made my mum the Victory Patterns Samara robe, and I made it not as a dressing gown but as a sort of kimono style jacket to wear when you go out, and the fabric is this incredible yoga print viscose which I picked up from Satisfaction. It was slippery to work with, it moved around quite a lot, it wasn't the easiest fabric to sew, but it's just so lovely and so striking, and it's perfect for my mum who practices yoga every day, and I knew she would love it, so that was gratefully received. The fourth garment I made in January was actually what I'm wearing. So this is the Shona Dress. It's a top and dress pattern from, again, Athena Kaku, AK Patterns. And as you can see in the pictures, I made the flutter sleeve version. So I made the t-shirt dress with the fluttery hem and the fluttery sleeves. And the fabric I've used is this gorgeous floral from a D-Stash on Instagram. And I just love it. It's not very sort of January, February appropriate, but actually it's a really fine day in Newcastle today and I'm going to go outside and take some pictures wearing it. So I would highly recommend the Shona pattern. It is so straightforward. It can be made in so many different ways. If you go onto Athena's YouTube channel, she has done, I think, is it 15 different hacks, or might even be more than that. So many different ways that you can wear this garment and make it your own. So very happy with that, and there'll definitely be more Shona tops or dresses in my future. What I'm drinking today, by the way, I'm being a little bit naughty, but I've got gin and rose lemonade. If you haven't had rose lemonade with gin before, I could highly recommend it. This is obviously ready mixed, but you can just buy the Fentimans rose lemonade and mix it with your favourite gin and you won't regret it. I would highly recommend that. Right, the next thing that I made, well, the final thing that I completed in January was the Megan Nielsen Jarrah Sweater, and I made the tie front version. I used this lovely beige sweatshirt fabric from Guthrie & Garney. It's got lots of speckles of different colours in. It's just really simple but eye-catching and cute. I love the tie front detail. I did at first not struggle with it. I had to look up online how to really make that tie front detail neat, and actually on Megan Nielsen's blog she has got a really fantastic tutorial on how to do it, so as soon as I'd read that I was absolutely fine. So if you're going to make that, I would recommend you checking out that blog post. And I love the Jarrah pattern because it comes in lots of different variations, and I'm definitely going to be making another one very soon. The two unfinished garments in January were the AK Patterns Kimberley dress. Now the only reason that this is unfinished is because I needed a specific length of concealed zip. So I've actually ordered that now, it has arrived, so I think I'm going to try and get that finished today, and then I'll be able to talk about it properly in next month's makes video. But yeah, I'm making it out of a lovely blue and yellow floral fabric from John Lewis, which I talked about in my very first YouTube video, and it's looking really, really lovely. I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far, so I look forward to finishing that and sharing that with you. And the other garment that is unfinished, and there's a reason why it's unfinished, is the Seamwork magazine Aberdeen top, and it's sort of a batwing style tunic top, and I'm making it out of the fabric from the last So Hailey Jane box, that yellow and black ITY jersey, and I was really, really happy with how it was turning out. And then the V-neck at the front has just gone a little bit wrong, so I need to find a way to rescue it, because otherwise the top is completely finished. It just doesn't look right at the front. So if anybody's got any suggestions of how I can rescue it, my thinking is that I'm going to cut it down the front and just create a seam down the front. I'm thinking that's the way that I'll be able to rescue it, but if anybody's got any other ideas, it's just where the V-neck neckband has been attached, then the fabric just doesn't sit right below that. Yeah, I really want to try and rescue that very soon, so if you've got any suggestions, please let me know. I would love to get that finished and show you it very soon. Right, so that's everything I made in January. I'm going to finish off the video with just a few of my favourite things in January. So some of them sewing related, some of them just random, but I just thought it might be interesting for you to get to know me a little bit more and maybe get some ideas of things for you to watch or read or things like that. So my TV favourite of the month has to be Grace and Frankie. I discovered this when I was ill and spending pretty much the majority of my time on the sofa under a blanket. I discovered Grace and Frankie and binge watched it. So it's on Netflix. It stars Jane Fonda, I can't remember the other lady's name, but it's just so funny. So it starts off, the very first episode, the concept is that these two ladies, older ladies, are taken out for dinner with their husbands, and during that dinner the husbands confess that they are actually in a relationship with each other. So the husbands are going to divorce the ladies and start their own relationship, and it actually turns out in that episode as well that they've been together for about 20 years, having an affair for about 20 years, but it's really, the series is just so funny. I would highly recommend it to anybody. So yeah, that's on Netflix if you want to go and check it out. For those people that maybe follow me on Instagram or know me in real life, you will know that I am a massive bookworm. I read all the time. I tend to read at least one book a week, and yeah, it's one of my favourite things to do other than sewing. I read, I think, 7 books in January, and my favourite I wanted to just talk to you about was The Light Between Oceans. So it's this book here by M.L. Stedman, and it's a film. I haven't seen the film, but this has been on my bookshelf for quite a few months waiting to be read. And in January I'd read a few psychological thrillers. That's kind of my favourite genre of book, and I just fancied a change, something a bit less, not harrowing, because I think The Light Between Oceans is not pleasant at times, but I really loved it, and I love the love story behind it. If you haven't read The Light Between Oceans, I would definitely give it a go. I am going to check out the film now as well, but I always like to read the book before I watch the film because I tend to enjoy the book a lot more than the film, because a film has to cut so much out. But yeah, if you've read the book or seen the film, let me know down below. Yeah, I'd love to have a little chat about it. My favourite music of the month, I haven't listened to that much music recently, which is really strange for me because music is a huge part of my life. But the music that I have been listening to in January has been for a specific reason, and it's been Lily Allen. Now, I am a member of Audible, so every month I get a new audiobook to listen to, and in January the audiobook that I chose was Lily Allen's autobiography, and I really, really enjoyed listening to that. She reads it herself, and her life has been incredibly hard. There's so much that's gone on, and obviously in the press and the media, they print so much nonsense and they delve into people's lives so much, and it's really damaging. So obviously it's great for people like Lily Allen to have the opportunity to be honest and actually clarify what has gone on in their lives, and she's had it really tough. So I really enjoyed listening to that, and then as a result of that I've gone back and I've been listening to all of her albums again, and actually then knowing what's happened to her makes the lyrics so much more meaningful to me now. You can sort of pinpoint the different times in her life that she was writing about and singing about. So if you haven't checked out Lily Allen's autobiography, I would recommend it, and go and listen to some of her music. I've listened to all of her albums throughout January a few times, and yeah, I'm really enjoying listening to her again. The last two things I'm going to mention are sewing related, and one of them is my favourite Instagram account of the month, and the other one is my favourite YouTube account of the month. So I'll start with YouTube, and I love watching sewing related YouTube videos, you know, what people have been making, what people plan to make. And the account that I'm going to mention, if you don't already subscribe to her, is Danny, and her channel is called Pocket or Two. Now, I met Danny at Sew Northwest last year. I followed her for a while on Instagram, and her style is just spot on. Like, it's so cool. She makes really interesting things. She's also obsessed with Tatty Divine like myself, and yeah, she's just awesome. So if you go and check out her YouTube channel, I'll link it down below, and see some of the amazing things she's made recently. In particular, if you watch her January Makes video, there is an incredible leopard print bomber jacket that is just to die for. So yeah, I'd highly recommend Danny's channel. And my favourite Instagram account was really hard to choose because there's so many amazing people that I follow on Instagram. But the one that stood out for me in January was an account called My Poetic Memory, and that lady is called Erin, and she just makes some really gorgeous things. In particular, she made Tilly and the Buttons Francoise dress out of like a light blue wool, and it's just beautiful, and the way she styled it in her photos is gorgeous. So yeah, her whole feed is incredible, so if you go and check her out on Instagram, again I'll link it down below. So I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Like I said, if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you could, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. So January and